Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NoTube. And we are here talking about um, season 4, episode 6 of Discovery Stormy Weather. I'm here with cousin Cheeto. How you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, sorry, this is a bit of a rush to, as we started a little bit later today. I'm just pulling up my notes as we speak. So this episode had a bit of a familiar tale regarding Enterprise being, or sorry, Discovery being in a void, not being able to find their way out, having to come out of a conundrum. We've got some other bits and bobs too regarding Book and regarding the ship itself, Zora, which has now become a sentient being. Well, it's always been a sentient being, but it's more sentient than ever now. So we're following all of these particular things. How did you find this episode before we start talking about it, Cheetah?
That's all right. I'm kind of it's a little weird about the sorry, didn't have my mic set up right. It's kind of weird about the like the Zora become like the computer becoming sentient. So is this like finally them acknowledging the sphere data? Is that what this is? Like I
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just continuing with it as well because the ship has, is been evolving, you know, and they say that like Zora that is saying that the ship, she's becoming more emotional and all of that. So we're acknowledging all of these things. Um, so yeah, the ship is pretty much part of the crew now.
okay. I mean, I'm not feeling that so much, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. We'll just see how this goes.
What do you don't like about it?
I feel like it's either like they should have either addressed this at the beginning of season, well, in the first half of season 3, or they should have addressed this at the first half of season 3, or they should have it's beyond the point at this point. Like where has this computer been? Why has it not? I mean, there was like one episode last season where where Saru was working with the computer to do something for the crew. Like there was that one bit, and then they had like a movie night, and then that was it. Like now this season, now they care this season. Like it's just like it's a little beyond the point, in my opinion.
Well, there is an evolution, isn't there, regarding the
Well,
ship? So
I feel like it's very Legends of Tomorrow ish. And although Legends of Tomorrow is my favorite like CW show, that kind of says a lot. Like, or that doesn't
mhm.
say very much sometimes. Like Gideon from the Legends of Tomorrow, from the Wave Rider. Like, it just it I don't know. It just kind of feel, and then the computer being scared and the audio, and then just like okay, so
I'm
we're getting,
scared, Captain.
yeah, it's like I'm getting like, oh, it's like data from like generations almost. Like I I know where they're going with this, and I'm not feeling it. And as I said, maybe they'll do something different, and it'll be okay. I'm not saying it's crap. I'm not saying that I hate it. I'm just saying like if this is going where I think it's going, I'm not feeling it.
Fair enough. Fair
I am
enough.
feeling book storyline though. So oh,
No, welcome, Wagyu. How you doing, mate? Yeah, I just took some pictures as well, regarding this particular episode because we kind of start how the previous episode ended, and the previous episode ended. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? The previous episode ended with this family tree thing, this alien family tree, which Burnham was able to give back to this particular lady who had her orb, so to speak, which holds this family tree, stolen from her by this guy who wanted to repent for his sins, so to speak, and have himself be killed by the anomaly, which was moving this meteorite colony into the sun. So anyway, so this is the family tree thing here. Michael decides to do her own one. It looks pretty cool, don't you think?
yeah. It was fine for Michael. I just thought, I know I'm skipping to the end, but I thought at the end when the computer was like, "I'm going to make my own family tree," I'm like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be the crew, isn't it? It's the crew." Like uh, I thought it would have been better if it would have been like the line of Discovery ships, maybe, or something like that. Like throughout history. Like, no, it's the crew. No, she's a part of the family now. Zora's a part of the family. Yeah, we're
Have you ever
loving the
seen
family.
2001? Basically,
Many
Z-
eons ago.
Zora is like a nice female version of Hal.
Good
That's the
morning,
vibe I'm
Dave.
that's the vibe I'm definitely getting from her. With her monotone voice and stuff like that. But at least she's not fucking crazy. Hal was fucking nuts. But at least she isn't. She's got the best interest of the crew at heart. We'll see
So
how it goes
far,
though. So
because
far, I
keep
mean,
in
she could
mind,
evolve.
because keep in mind, the other emotion that they're going to probably explore eventually is jealousy.
Yeah. By the way, Mike using the family tree thing as a picture book though. There's a little weird little freak Spock on there and bearded Spock. Well, weird little freak Spock was there. I saw the bearded Spock. Yeah.
What is weird
Oh yeah.
little freak Spock?
Yeah. Well, remember when they were kids? So
Oh, okay.
yeah. There you go, Daniel. Yeah, she does feel like Hal. There you go.
2010.
2001, wasn't it? No, 2001, not 2010, I
Well,
believe.
but I think no, I think there was the sequel was 2010.
Yeah, 2010, yeah, which is all right, by the way. That's when Jupiter becomes the second sun. The ship's tree at the end should have been the crew, but the only pics you see are the same ones as from Mike's tree, but plus Gray, perhaps. Not even Arium or Pike were on Mike's tree. Yeah, good point. Very good point. Um, so this episode begins with Mike wants to check the subspace rift, where the DMA, which is the dark matter anomaly, was. Now, Book wants to leave Federation space, so to speak, and speak to other aliens about the anomaly because they believe it comes from outside of their galaxy. But that really is. We're going to go back to that a little bit later. But how Mike looks at it is that the subspace, so this dark matter anomaly, after it leaves a particular place, it's like a crime scene. Like there is a lot of shit going on there and it needs to be investigated, the aftermath of the DMA. So they decide to go down this particular route. And as Mike is now heading towards the bridge, he's in the. I got a picture for this, by the way. Let me find one. Mike is in the shuttle bay with Arman Sarul. Let me just go grab him.
Wagyu said there are two references to HAL 9000 while you look that up. Zora saying, "I'm sorry, Captain. I'm afraid I can't do that." And I can sing a song. I can sing a song which wasn't Daisy Daisy, thankfully.
I wish you could. I wish you were singing. I could do this all day. That
Oh
would have been really
God,
fun.
no!
That would have been
God,
really fucking
no!
good. Like, don't worry, Michael. I can do this all day.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would have been.
while Michael's getting boiled alive.
Yeah,
I
so
thought that they would have put like I don't understand why the ship, if the ship is sentient, why did the ship put her in the pattern buffer when she became like passed out? Like I
also
don't.
there needs to be somebody who's captaining the ship. Look, I totally agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Like Zora should be running this on her own because eventually Michael tells Zora, like do this shit on your own. But nevertheless, I think at the time Michael thought that she could still be there. She wears a space suit and stuff
Well,
like
no,
that.
it's because it's the Michael Burnham show and she's got to fix all the problems. Like like I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna do my obligatory. It's the Michael Burnham show. I'm sorry. Like that's the one. It's actually worse this season than it was last season. I think.
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay.
I still think I think Michael Burnham will always be the focal point, but I do feel that other characters are coming into play. And we saw it in this episode. The whole bridge were brainstorming and all manners of things. We saw a little bit with Owo, and everyone's coming up with ideas. Bryce is talking about there's no sound and shit like that. Everyone's throwing ideas at the wall. I mean, there's always other characters who do stand out. Like Stamets is usually a standout. He's always there. I think Colbert is also there quite often. And Saru, of course, and prior to that, Tilly was around. But anyway, this guy's going to go into the rift. I got a picture of the rift, by the way. I took a lot of pictures today. Yeah, so let me get a picture of this rift.
All right. So Wagyu says if she asks, "Do you want to hear a poem?" I'd better be Felis Caddis. Okay. I don't know that poem.
And
And
does is that is I don't know about you, but that looks like the fucking Eye of Sauron, right?
A little bit. It's actually in our thumbnail. I uploaded our thumbnail like literally 5 minutes
Oh,
before we
nice.
started. So that, yeah, but that exact picture is in our thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, it does look like I thought that too. I was like, oh, it's the Eye of Sauron, or it's the the Clit of Sauron. One of the two.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, that's not what a clip would look like, actually. It's more like the Vag passage.
well,
Um,
okay, there's Zam. Just
oh, yeah, we don't want to sound like Neanderthal men who don't know the difference between a clit and a vag.
I
You
I
know,
I yeah, okay, Zam, I get it. Thanks a lot.
okay,
Anyway,
you started it. All right, it's just so you know, anyway.
oh, Data's
Um,
poem. That's right. I forgot about that. Felix Caddis.
yeah, I don't get why she didn't go to the pattern buffer eventually when the bridge was on fire. I had no idea if she. You know what? But I watched this episode twice. I had no idea if she did go into the pattern buffer or not because she gets she gets serenaded by Zora, and we don't know what happens to her after that until she wakes up. Um, Daniel Vance says I felt that the episode was going to lead to Calypso, but that was original Discovery's future. That was originally, I think you mean Discovery's future. Um,
I don't think at this point that it's going to happen. I think they're retroing that one. So yeah, Daniel Vance says that the Felix Caddis is Data's poem. I forgot about that. That's just his Wagyu is a plethora of Trek information that we are not, which already contradicts Calypso since Zora is supposed to be evolved in that 1,000 years of free time. So
well, we do once they're in the rift. By the way, it kind of reminded me of that episode of Voyager where they're in this part of space where everything's just black. There's
black,
no
yeah, the
stars.
void.
The void, yeah. And it's kind of like that because as soon as they go in the rift, like there's no they have no idea like which way is left, which way is right, north, south, starboard, port, all of that shit. So they kind of get lost in it, and then they send out a Wally droid. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of that, but that Wally droid, they call it a dot. I think is that what they call it, a
Yeah.
dot. Yeah, I'm not going to be ever using that term dot ever. It's going to be a droid. It's going to be Wally. It's going to be something along those lines in the future. I just can't call it a fucking dot. I'd rather they call it a bot. Is it bot or dot?
I think it was dot is what I think it was.
Why are they calling it dot?
I don't know because it sounds like Dottie. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. They sent out a dot. I don't know if these dots are sentient because they're part of Zora, but because remember the dots were at the end of season 3, Zora had them under her control, so to speak, and they were trying to get the ship back from the Emerald Chain. But this particular dot, it goes out into space, and as it progresses into away from Discovery, it starts burning up, and then it screams in pain. I never laughed so hard in my fucking life. Like this little robot's dying. I thought, oh my god, this is hell. I'm not gonna let this get to me the other way where I should feel really concerned about it. Not like I was that time in Flubber when that robot died in Flubber. That really broke my fucking heart. This particular robot, I didn't know you, don't care about you. When it died, I fucking laughed. Yeah. They said it was screaming. It was funny, Wagyu. I was laughing my ass off.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, are they like saying that the thing was screaming because the ship is sentient? Because aren't the dots a part of the ship's computer? So are the dots also sentient? Like,
Yeah.
That's why I'm not really feeling this whole Zora thing. Like, I don't.
Like, why is it screaming? Like, I mean, Zora can like lose. We see later on she loses a part of her hull. I mean, that's technically her body, a part of her body. No pain there, but a dot goes out into space, and it starts screaming in pain before it dies. If it, or disintegrates, however you want to look at it. That was a bit weird, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So yeah, but yeah, it looks a bit like Wally. So anyway.
Wally.
So we kind of like get through I think is it Adira. She basically mentions that this DMA not only does it destroy everything in its path, it's the aftermath of it as well. It kind of like leaves the area kind of toxic and empty, which is why this particular part of space there's nothing there. Now, it makes you really gives you an idea of how big this fucking thing is. That you can usually see stars in the distance. Not here. Yeah, there's nothing to see. You know what I mean, it's so fucking big that you can't even see the bloody stars. So yeah, that was pretty interesting in my opinion. So Mike then starts asking the crew for ideas, and they realize that if the scanners are not going to pick up anything, because I remember Bryce mentioned um sorry, let me just quickly get some of these messages. Did we get this one up already? Then Zora would be screaming on the ship. The robots, yeah, yeah, they follow orders. Must have X-comp syndrome. Okie dokie. But yeah, they realize that they're not picking up anything with scanners, but they do believe there's something out there, but they just can't fucking sort of see it because it's all dark. So Saru says, if we can't pick up with scanners, maybe we can visually see it. So they shoot out a flare, and when they shoot out this flare, the flare goes into space. It goes as far as it can go, but eventually it disintegrates as well. And they do some calculations that the droid disintegrated first. After like maybe 10 seconds. The flare disintegrated after maybe 9 seconds. So whatever's out there is coming towards them. And I think Detmer then says that they have like 33 minutes of time left before before whatever is out there, which they can't see with scanners or flare, comes towards them. So yeah, then you realize, okay, the heat is on now because they're kind of stuck. Whatever's out there, they can't see it, and it destroys everything. So yeah, they're kind of fucked. And this is just the aftermath of the DMA as well. So yeah, what do you think of all that?
I mean, it's all right. As I said, it was kind of I don't know. This episode was weird. I wanted to like it, but there were a couple things that just kind of bugged me about it. Like the whole Burnham like stand on the bridge thing and the computer being so much of a focus, and the computer playing the game with Gray, and I don't I there was something about this episode that irked me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I wanted to like it because I did like the fact that they were bouncing off of some of the side characters, but I don't know. I mean, it just seems like episode after episode after episode, it's the Michael Burnham show, and it's just like, God,
All
stop.
right, you gotta go. You need to get over that because it's not going to change.
Well,
Okay,
I'm going to say it every single time. Sorry.
the whole thing with the ship scanners not working is because it was worried about broken replicators was ridiculous. I do
Yeah, that's
recall.
the other thing that bugged me. The computer's distracted. Like what? Like it's
You
a
know,
supercomputer. Like
our computers have been able to prioritize process for eons. Um, why did they only fire a flare in one direction? Try free to try and get it. Well, they fired it in that particular direction because that was the direction of where the droid was being it got destroyed. So it was kind of that's the way they thought it would be the best way to shoot the flare because if something destroyed the droid out there, they could possibly see it. Why isn't the barriers closing in one direction only? Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I can hear myself, by the way. Um, Gray is the ship's counselor, but not Dr. Culber. No, Gray's not. I don't know what the hell Gray is. Gray looks like is should be like doing should be in a rock and roll band or something. They really are trying to shoehorn Gray in this, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the character of Gray at all. Um,
yeah, that's
it feels like
that's what I'm
it's a poor man's Neelix, but
I
worse.
and that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that they're shoehorning too many characters in right now. And unfortunately, Gray is one of those. And it's just like I kind of like the fact that Gray was just kind of, Tall's what's her first or what's his first name?
Adira.
Adira. Adira, I felt like Gray was Adira's, you know, thing. It's a part of the story of and I don't know. I felt like it was very just yeah, like there's too many characters right now, and it's just kind of crazy, like how many characters you got going on right now, and everyone wants stories and stuff like that. And I mean, this isn't a 24 episode season. This is a what 12, 13, or I think it's 13 episodes. So that's why it's like you only got so much time. I would rather them focus on characters that have not gotten any time, like the bridge crew, maybe. Like I don't know.
Anyway,
I would like some more on. I mean, we got a little bit more today on Owo, but did I say that right?
oh well,
Owo.
yeah.
Yeah, Owo. A little bit more on Owo and Detma and Reese, and and I just want more of them at the moment. We've gotten more of Colbert and Stamets. We've gotten we got a lot of Tilly recently, but she's kind of doing her own thing right now, which, as I said, I think is good temporarily, just because it opens up for other people to kind of get in there and do stuff. But now they're giving that to Adira, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like things are getting overcrowded, and the bridge crew's still getting looked over. So
I agree. Well, Mike decides that like this is getting too dangerous now. So I was thinking to myself, why don't they? God damn it, Dax! Why don't they just just spore drive the fuck out of there? Which is what they end up doing. Let me just quickly look at my notes here before I clear myself. So they decide to spore drive, and because Stamets is more needed on the engineering science department, Seema Singh's Book decides to activate the spore drive himself. And as they try to spore drive out of there, it malfunctions because of where they are. It just isn't, the spore drive's not working, and Book gets electrocuted, and he starts having hallucinations of his dead father, and his dead dad is guilt tripping him, telling him, you used to be a free spirit, so to speak, a live wire, and now you're being ordered around. You're not your own man anymore. So what did you think of Book's hallucination, even though he knew it was a hallucination?
I mean, it was okay. I mean, I felt like that was a bit more character driven than Owo's. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I kind of wish Owo had and actually there's a comment here that from Wagyu, who's basically saying that the incidental character building story of her community healers and someone dying, so really good. Thank you for riveting story. Like he's kind of right. Like it's like, yeah, like okay, you're telling the story, but it's like, okay, well, but now we have way more character development with Book, with his father. Like why couldn't we get that somehow else with Owu? You know what I mean? Like
I agree. We get more character development with non-bridge crew members than we do with bridge crew members. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So what's this mushroom?
Wagyu agrees with Daniel Vance. There were so many pop references in this episode; they were hard to miss. During Book's failed jump, sensor data has the number 1846. The Liberty Bell was cracked, being rung for a birthday. It was Book's dad's birthday. Book had his bell rung and cracked. Daniel Vance, what, dude? You're like connecting all of these these conspiracy dots. Like that's hilarious. I love it. Mushroom. What is that? Mushroom. Bahaji? Am I saying that right?
Mushroom Budgie head. Yeah, I know what a budgie is. Is gone from the bridge, and Squid Head is back. It was stood right beside the deer and grey as he messed with bridge controls. An uncommissioned crew member was yelling, "Say something!" So yeah, well, look, talking about Grey, because I'm just going to bring up a picture of Grey right now. Here he is. And because I'm going to call this bar, I'm going to call it 10 backwards. 10 That's my nickname. Yeah. Because why the hell not? So Zora and Grey are in the bar. Well, Zora's everywhere. She's an omnipotent being when it comes to fucking discovery. but she can be multiple places at once. But Gray's just chilling in the bar. Everyone's working. There's no other like sort of non like crew members on Discovery. It seems that Gray and Book are probably the only ones, and Book has use. She does, so Gray doesn't. But nevertheless, Gray decides to play a game of what I like to call 5G chess. Yeah, 4D chess.
Yeah, 5G chess. Okay.
Yeah. But as they're playing, Zora tells Gray that shit's going on in the hull, and Gray tells Zora, "Well, don't fucking tell me this. Tell the captain." So they tell the captain, and then let's get this picture here.
Hey, that's in our thumbnail too.
Yeah, and the captain then tells, I think the doctor was very close to this part of the ship where the hull was being breached, and told the doctor that whoever's there, tell them to get the fuck out of there. But unfortunately, this yellow shirt or this yellow jacket, no Ant-Man puns there, doesn't make it out in time and get sucked out the hull.
Well, keep in mind that yellow shirts are technically red shirts from the next generation on era. So
yeah, fair enough. I totally dig that. Great name for it.
Your 5G chess or whatever.
Oh yeah, exactly, dude.
Book's real name is Terrakix. I don't remember what they said. According to the subtitles, funny his dad took the piss out of him for caring about trace worms. Well, why don't personal transport features in case of an explosive decompression beam the? Yeah, you know what, Daniel Vance? That's a really freaking good point. That is a really freaking good point.
Yep. Well, so Gray, after talking to Zora, said that I thought you told me that there was problems with the hull on the exterior, not on the interior. And then all of a sudden, this leads to some techno jargon, and I have to speak to the captain. And so Gray decides to inform Michael that there's something going on with the exterior. We're going to get to that in a second. But Book keeps getting guilt tripped from his dead dad, because Book's dead dad says to him, "Look, you're in love with Michael. You're being so obedient to Michael. Stop being such a simp." You all right there, mate? Okay, so yeah, Bobby's just out for a second. So Book's dead dad is basically telling Book not to be a simp. Like you can tell that this is definitely hallucinations, because this is a part of Book's mind playing tricks on him. I don't know how the spore drive electrocuting him makes him have these hallucinations. And once we did see earlier on in prior to all of these hallucinations coming, that Book will recover from this, but in the meantime, as he's recovering, he'll be getting these hallucinations. Now, the crew are brainstorming some ideas, and Owo has an idea. It seems really dangerous. Watching this twice, I tried to understand what Owo's idea was the second time round. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't understand it at all. But nevertheless, Suru decides to shut down. Do you have a StreamYard link? Yes. Well, maybe I just met you for the first time. Do you watch? Do you watch this shit? Do you watch Star Trek? Hello. Don't know you from Adam. Never watched your shit before. But I'm going to ask for a StreamYard link just to join you guys. Like, I'd rather give it to Wagyu and Daniel Vance before I give it to you, mate. No offense. I've just met you. Anyway, where was I? Just kind of lost my train of thought. So, yeah, she has this idea, and she relays it to Saru, who's kind of in charge at the moment. And Saru basically shuts her down and says there's no fucking chance that this is happening. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, Dan, Wagyu, but when Owu was trying to plead her case and Saru was trying to be nice about it, and then Owu pled her case a little bit harder and a little bit more, and then the Saru just shut her down with a more aggressive tone. It kind of reminded me of that scene between Picard and Data in Generations when they were in Astrometrics, when Data was going on about how he couldn't handle these emotions, and then Picard was trying to be a little bit nice to him, saying to him, "Well, look, I understand, Data, but we need to get through this." And then Data was going, "Sir, I can't handle these emotions. I need you to shut me down." And Picard said, "Listen, you're a Starfleet officer. You know, you're an officer of Starfleet. Get your fucking shit together, you fucking bastard." And
Yeah, that's
then,
verbatim what he said.
yeah, exactly. And that moment, I don't know. Did you pick up that vibe at all between Oru and
I did,
Saru?
yeah. I got a lot
Yeah.
of Star Trek Generation vibes from this because of the computer, like getting emotions and sentience and getting scared and insecure and
Well, look, people forget about Book. Book is the Doctor Doolittle of space.
yeah,
Wagyu.
he is.
You know what I mean? You know, he's Doctor Doolittle in space. So yeah, um, the mystery box person to get revenge. Zora should have beamed out the moment he completed. Should have beamed him out the moment he completed his task to save the section. Well, that's why Zora was like, but Zora was getting all emotional, wasn't she? Like, oh no, I didn't save him. But Gray was basically consoling Zora by saying, "Listen, if you didn't bring this up earlier or whatever, a lot more people could have died. So it's okay that only one person died because more people could have died. But nevertheless, I can totally understand where Zora's coming from because she almost feels, you know, she's a bit like the captain. She feels responsible for everyone. Yeah, that's the Ensign Cortez being sucked out. I'm thinking Zora is sentient. Why can't it wait one more second? Why not beam back immediately? Where's the spacesuit that pops up out of the comm badge? Yeah, good point.
That's another good point.
They talk about how the barrier is touching the ship, but yet there is another barrier closing in on them. The science of this episode was phoned in. The hull is also getting damaged despite the shield still being up. Maybe they've gone back to the what the hell's this word?
Ablative.
Okay.
Ablative armor, like in Enterprise. It's like when they polarize the
Nope.
hull and stuff like that.
This geezer was asking us for a stream yard. Like, first question, like, the very first thing he asked was like, "Come on, mate." I already told him I was gonna rather give it to Wagyu and Dan than to give it to this geezer. The photos of them in space dock at the end look like it at Wagyu. Okay, fair enough. So where am I now? Stamets realizes that the DMA point of entry is the location of the exit, because however the DMA got there is with how they get out of there. And Bryce then uses sonar ping like being in the submarine. It's really funny. He mentions, oh, it's an ancient technology. This sonar ping shit, you know. Yeah, back in the day on Earth they would use it and all that bollocks.
I'm surprised they didn't mention dolphins. You know, since they have cetacean operations and on starships.
They would have. Well, that is on the next TNG. They're before original series theoretically, so they might have missed a lot of that, and they might not have cetacean ops necessarily in this period.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But still, I always find it funny they have cetacean ops.
Yeah, fair enough. So now they kind of realize that even though this is the way to get out, unfortunately the exit will also kill everyone, the entire crew, because it will get too hot to handle. The ship will get heated up. So they decide to basically use a pattern buffer, which is basically being transported without ending up somewhere, just staying in transport mode.
They stay as data in the computer.
Yeah.
So if the ship gets fantastic destroyed, way of hiding. If the ship gets destroyed, then their data can be corrupted, and then they'll be gone anyway.
Yeah.
Or they'll beam back as some freaky looking Resident Evil monster.
So yeah, so everyone decides to go into the pattern buffer, which is like being transported without coming out of transport. Owo then apologizes to Saru, and this is what I think you mentioned earlier, Wagyu. Owo apologizes to Saru with a story about her youth, and Saru accepts the apology, and they both go into the pattern buffer. What was that story again? Please remind me. It's like,
which one? The
yeah, here it is. I will tell some bollocks incidental character building story about how her community healers and someone dying. Saru goes, "Oh, thank you for sharing the story with me. Now we're about to die, so let's get the fuck out of
Right?
it." Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Um. Okay, you blocked somebody for 5 minutes, huh?
It was one of those. It was one of
Spammers.
those. Yeah, spams.
No, fair enough. Stamets says that they don't use wires anymore, but in TNG times, their tech was a mix of electroplasma and electricity still. The ice monster Tilly ran from detected Ian Fields too on Disco Shuttle. Yeah. They also didn't have Wi-Fi on Voyager. Like they would actually physically go to one part of the ship to another part of the ship to be giving them data pads. It's crazy. You think they'd be able to Wi-Fi that shit. But
Well, the
anyway,
Wi-Fi really wasn't that much of a. I don't think it was. Wi-Fi wasn't a thing back in the late '90s or early '90s.
I know, but you think of it now, when you
Yeah, I
think of
know,
future
right?
tech.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. Even
transfer the
then,
data.
no, even then, like in the 90s, like they would have been doing like telephone wire internet, so they could have come up with something. I mean,
Maybe
nobody
it's
before.
maybe the data is too sensitive for it to go over the digital network. It has to be physically taken.
Yeah, storing the crew in the pattern buffer was a callback to school. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, Dan. Um, it definitely was a callback to that, mate.
Yep, that was my first thought when they said store everybody in the
Mm,
pattern buffer. I'm like, uh-oh. Are they going to come out and it's going to be another 900 years?
maybe the Orion kid brought his vintage iPod. I thought they were gonna shove all the colonists into the pattern buffer last episode, and it turned out there was only 1,000 of them. Well, they beamed them out, didn't they? So,
I mean, that
so
kind of makes transporting like populations of people. All you have to have is a huge data ship, and then transport everybody onto the into this huge supercomputer that's a huge transporter pattern buffer, and then move them and then transport them back. Now I know a lot can go wrong in between one place to another, but still, it's like that in a worst case scenario, that's a good way to evacuate an entire planet.
I agree. So, Book's final vision, because he is recovering from this, by the way. So the visions will end, and Book's final vision with his dad is his dad telling him that Michael will always choose Starfleet over you. Book then tells his dad as he's kind of looking at his dad, but he's looking at the camera at the same time with that particular shot. And Book tells his dad that if he's not hallucinating, then he also believes that his brother and nephew are also around to be seen. So he kind of gives himself a positive view on what's happening to him right now. And then he tells his dad goodbye. And then and then his dad's gone. Book catches up to Michael. They tell each other they love each other, which is a nice moment. I think with the relationship they've had, and they've had their ups and downs, but they still stick together.
But
I think this was,
go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I feel like their relationship is like it's not like Book definitely respects her position as as because she is a captain. He knows she has to put everybody else's well-being above her own and above, she has a lot of, hard decisions to make. So that's why at the beginning of the episode, when they had that quick little tiff about not tiff, but like this quick little discussion about what happened in the last episode, he kind of got over it really quickly, and I'm kind of glad because it seemed like he's just like, I understand you have a lot of hard choices to make and you made the call. It was your call to make. I'm not going to hold it against you. Even whether I agree or not, I'm not going to hold. And I kind of like the fact that they're like that because it's like you could like pull out some stupid melodrama out of it where Book is now questioning all of Burnham's, stuff because he's doing, because she's doing what she thinks is a captain, but he's actually choosing to trust her because he knows she's a good captain.
By the way, Wagu, yeah, I'm going to get to that in a bit. By the way, but I know what you mean regarding the DMA being outside the galaxy. Um,
I think it's God from Star Trek V. They said
but
something about the center of the.
that wasn't God, by the way. But
I know it wasn't
yeah,
God, but that's just what he called himself.
yeah,
Um,
fair enough.
but I think they were talking about the center of the galaxy, so I'm pretty sure I would almost bet it's going to be that a type of creature like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially considering Book is fucking Doctor Doolittle. Of course, he hates his dad for hunting animals. Um. So yeah, and by the way, once Book and Mike tell each other they love each other, Book then gets pattern buffered himself with what's the name of that fucking cat again?
Grudge,
Grudge. Yeah.
which is all Grudge is also in our Grudge is also in our thumbnail, but I hit him. It's
See,
not going to be hard to find.
what is the center of the galaxy, man? Like, how do you determine the center of the galaxy? That's why how do you determine if there's a center, there's the edge of the galaxy? You're
I don't
like,
think they know. I don't think that they want us to think about it. Like I really don't think they want us to think about
considering
it.
we then had like different quadrants as well, like the delta sector and the beta sector, and anyway, um, now Zora is feeling responsible for is feeling the responsibility of what's happening, and Zora is shitting herself, which is really cool. Like this fucking AI starship is shitting herself, and Mike now, and just as it's only Mike and Zora left on the ship because everyone else is in the buffer, Mike is basically trying to console her, but things are heating up literally, and Mike is now trying to be part of the ship in her astronaut suit, and basically she tells her, listen, I'm not sure if I'm able to continue here. You're going to have to get everyone out of the pattern buffer. And Zora, you know, feeling like, I don't know, like, yes, Captain, I'll do it, Captain. Yes, you can count on me, Captain, I'll do it, and all of that sort of stuff. But Mike is not being buffered yet. And then
Well, and
to,
that's when I thought that she was going to put her in the pattern buffer, because I was like,
yeah.
okay, so you're like, okay, you're trusting her, and then she would put herself in the pattern buffer, but then like all of a sudden it's like she just kind of passes out and starts singing, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Something close to a Sagittarius A. So apparently this is like the alien center was 0. Was like in the Star Wars universe, Coruscant apparently is in the center of the galaxy. You know, but
No, Coruscant's not in the center, is
yeah,
it?
it is. Its coordinates is 0000 or some shit like that. It's right in the center. Um. Anyway, it's irrelevant. We're doing Star Trek, so Mike is now feeling the pain from them trying to exit, and instead of being pattern buffered, Zora decides to sing her a song and serenades Mike with some lovely singing. And we still don't know if Mike ever got pattern buffered or not. By the looks of things, waking up in sick bay, which is the next scene, it seems like she wasn't.
Yeah, I would say she didn't, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah. And there was some other scenes a few seasons ago where Mike was sat in a chair being tortured as they wanted to lure her. Yeah, I remember that. Well, it was yeah. Well, Mike actually I remember, I think that was in season 2, and Mike actually wanted to be tortured and she wanted to be in pain so they could lure her mum out. And Spock was letting that happen too. I do recall. Anyway, now where are we? So yeah, she then wakes up, and Mike's there, Colbert's there, Saru's there. So she's with the crew members, and Disco itself is in the hangar bay. So everything's hunky dory. That made you happy?
What?
They survived.
Yeah,
She
okay.
comes
I
to,
mean, yeah, I get, yeah, yay, they survived.
so I was actually thinking that there was going to be a rift was building between Michael and Book, but I do think if anything their relationship was more cemented in this episode. That they'll always have their issues. Just because we have an issue here and there doesn't mean that this is the end of us,
Yeah,
as a
well, that's what I
couple.
was saying. I really feel like that I like the way that their relationship, the turn, like their boundaries and their relationship is, because Book knows that she's a captain, captain's got a captain, you know. So
Trish Armstrong were a product of the 80s or 90s, you know. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got a musical episode with all the singing. We had a short trek like that. Well, we had that
no,
episode with the Doctor, and I mean, if you can make it work, you know, and then maybe they can sing "I Can Do This All Day."
God help
Yes,
us
I
all.
am. So, the final elements of this episode is we have a scene between Book and Saru, and they're talking about the creators of the DMA. Now, they actually believe it comes outside the galaxy. Now, this is where I wanted to get to now. When they say outside the galaxy, I mean, we're talking outside the Federation space, or we're talking like that alien from Voyager, which was attacking the Borg. Was it 572? What's it called? Species
8472.
847. Is it like that? Like from a different dimension? You
I
know what I
no, the
mean?
way they made it sound, it was more just like outside of our galaxy, like like from another galaxy, like from the Andromeda galaxy. So, I mean, could this be someone trying to go from the Andromeda galaxy to the Milky Way galaxy?
Well, wherever it's coming from, Book is pissed. He's he's really pissed, and you know he tells Saru that he wants to kill the people who created this because you know obviously his family's been killed by it. You know his brother and his nephew, so he has a score to settle.
I don't blame him.
And I totally don't blame him. But then Saru understands where Book is coming from because the Kelpians um, were killed and eaten by, is it the Balol? Balol? Is that how you pronounce it? And that was during his time, his proper time, when he was in their original century. But because he's now gone into the future, you know things have changed,
And they sit
and
across the
now
table, yeah.
they sit across the table from each other, but he still feels that rage. But he knows that peace serves the greater good. And this is funny because Book actually tells him like, you know, you seem so calm and seem so, you know, self assured and stuff like that. But yeah, he's holding it in. You know, ever since he lost those fear tentacles, you know, Saru is a man possessed. It's great how now the ship can be afraid to do things. Hope they don't have space battles, or it's going to be yelling out. Now, I don't think the ship feels pain, but she does have emotions, and I did mention that. I did mention that last week in the Zanta mentioned that last week. I do apologize, not me. And yeah, so the ship does have emotions, but it doesn't feel pain. Outside the Milky Way, the mushroom driver has made our galaxy too small already. I totally agree. So this is why I'm wondering, like, where this thing is coming from, because with the spore drive, they can go anywhere in the universe. There is no place too
No,
far.
everywhere in the galaxy. The mushroom, the mycelial network is throughout the galaxy. It's not throughout the
All right, all
universe.
right, all right, all right. Don't correct me anymore, please. That's why I. That's why I have the. That's why I think half the entire half the entities responsible for destroying Book's planet may not have done it on purpose, so he can take revenge. Why was it going after 1,000 person colony? Even look, regardless, like they, I can hear myself by the way.
I don't know
Um,
why.
regardless, you know, Book can't give these people a pass. You know, they've created something which is, you know, galaxy big sort of doomsday machine. So I can still hear myself. Yeah, put some headphones in. Um, so yeah, so even if it was, yeah, if it's going after this colony, why was it going after this colony? But they can do. It's a bit like, you know, it's like Jaws. This is Jaws in space. I've just come to realize, you know, this is space Jaws. You know, instead of instead of we need a bigger boat, we'll need a bigger fucking starship, because this fucking thing, you know, it's just eating everything. Um, but it was good to know, by the way, regarding knowing that Saru still has a rage in him. You know, regarding the species that he used to fight with or used to eat them, and now they're working together for peace. But he still feels that rage, and I like that. Saru's a fucking badass. Although it seemed like Book's planet only has a handful of people on it. Yeah, well, budgetary reasons there. Remember, it is a planet, you know. And the thing is, when it comes to things like Star Trek and Star Wars, they make one city seem to be the entire planet, you know, when it's a fucking planet. I mean, we share Earth right now. This guy beneath me is in America. I'm in the United Kingdom. We're in two different parts of the world. But Star Trek and Star Wars, they never really give you that sense because, you know, Mos Eisley is basically fucking the entire Tatooine.
I mean, they did a little bit better. Well, okay, never mind. That's a tangent. Just keep going.
Yeah. Um, Data didn't feel the pain until the Borg Queen. Don't count Zora out. Yeah, I agree, but
But Data is a
um,
lot different than Zora. Like Data was an android built like a human, like built like a person, and Zora's a ship that is feeling emotions. So
and
I
I
feel like
did,
it's a
yeah,
lot different.
I did mention as well the hull breach as well. You know, that section of the ship was destroyed. She didn't feel a thing. She only felt emotional because somebody died, but she never felt physical pain. I wouldn't be surprised if the mushroom. And by the way, the ship was catching on fire and burning up, and she was all good. She was still able to like swing sweet nothings to fucking Mike. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the mushroom network could reach Andromeda. It's very close. Our galaxies are going to collide in a few billion years.
I mean, I get why you say that, Wagyu, but at the same time, it's like if you look at any map, like any maps throughout this entire series of the mycelial network, it's always of the Milky Way galaxy. Now, maybe there's like a branch that goes off into like one branch that might go off to another galaxy or something like that. But every map they look at of the mycelial network, it's only through the Milky Way galaxy. So technically, yeah, they could go anywhere in the Milky Way galaxy, which I'm okay with because I want to see things like the Dominion, the Delta Quadrant races, and stuff like that. Like that'd be fun if they actually started expanding out past the Alpha and Beta Quadrant.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they did obviously do that with Voyager, and they're doing
and
that now with Prodigy.
and I mean, the mycelial network is a good reason to do that. It made no sense to have the mycelial network in a pre-Kirk era because it's never mentioned again. But now that we're in the future, all you know, it's all not you know,
All
the
bets
gloves are
are off.
yeah, all bets are off. Like, I mean, you can because it's not like they have to worry about in canon with TNG, TOS, and all these other things. It's like you can, you know, if you prick me, do I not leak? Yes, I. More generations references. Yes.
Isn't that something to do with Kang from fucking? He's like almost like a different like a a different like this is not a Shakespeare quote, but it kind of sounds like a Shakespeare quote, if you know what I mean.
Well, it was a quote from Data and Generations. He was, and I don't know why. I don't even remember what he was talking about, but yeah.
It'll take the power of friendship with Book and Stamets holding hands and navigating together to find the bits that goes to Andromeda. Okay.
I mean,
I
yeah.
kept thinking that Book's eyes were going to go silver by the barrier particles in his brain, like Gary Mitchell. I remember that was the name I was thinking of, by the way, Gary Mitchell from the original series. Yes,
Oh, you're talking.
yes.
Yeah, they can do Ultra Instinct, book. Yeah, it's a Dragon Ball reference. Sorry, Zam. Yeah, it's lost on you.
No, look, I vaguely remember Dragon Ball, by the way.
Well,
Mike is
this is more recent. It's not. It's not from the past.
okay. Well, Mike is back with her family. Sorry, back with the family tree, and she's talking to Zora about it. And Zora goes, "Captain, do you mind if I create my own family tree?" And Mike goes, "Of course." And then she shows her family tree, and it has the whole disco crew on it. You know, all the familiar faces. So that was how the episode ended. You know, like they kind of like put themselves in a position now because you know this is not a Magile Barrett computer. This is a like a proper computer with. Sorry, this is basically Data, as if Data was the fucking. No, actually, I'll take that back. Because Data wasn't emotional. Obviously, he was in a certain in a couple of the movies and one or two episodes, but you know what I mean. Like this is a sentient. This is an AI sentient being that has become emotional, and You can't have episode with Zora being so front and center, and now Zora not being in any episode at all. Um, it's going to be weird how they do shit with Zora in the future. But she's become a proper character now. You know,
Yeah, another character. I like let's just
the ship is a character.
yeah, like let's just stack it all up. Come on, we're gonna get all of these people.
Besides, are you sure it's only the Milky Way? Remember when the mycelial network was going to blow up? They said all life in the universe, or even multiverse, was under threat.
I mean, that might I actually responded. That might be true. I'd have to go back and watch. But every time they show you a map of the mycelial network, it's of the Milky Way galaxy. So I mean, maybe there's like it's like you can go anywhere in the Milky Way galaxy, but then like there's one path that kind of branches out to the next galaxy, and maybe they just have to hone into where that branch is. But
On Mike's family tree was that other comms officer, Lieutenant Christopher, that only joined the crew at the start of the season. He can't be that important yet. What about poor Squidhead? I was keeping an eye on Mike's family tree. I really was, but we saw the usual suspects there because they tried to keep it on particular angles, camera wise. So here's a section of tree, and look, there's the usual suspects. Whilst the ship's family tree was everybody, And I wonder if, if the ship's going to see the Voyager J and go, oh, hubba hubba, and then like,
and then when the space stocks are rocking, don't come a knocking.
Well, have you seen Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo?
No, maybe years ago.
Herbie, the love bug itself. Yeah, he sees another car, and I don't know. No one ever explained how Herbie, a fucking Volkswagen Beetle, ends up being sentient. But Herbie ends up seeing. No, this is before Knight Rider, for fuck's sake. But Herbie then sees another car, falls in love with it, and somehow this car becomes sentient because Herbie falls in love with it. And imagine if the ship, like, oh, I'm all emotional now. I love the look of the Voyager J. I mean, yeah, that's a real long shaft he's got right there. And next thing you know, they want to make little fucking starship babies. This will be very interesting in the future. Watch this episode in 4K I was able to work out most of the faces. Okay, give us some of those faces, mate. I thought they specified the spore drive could jump to anywhere in existence. I see Daniel's on my side on this.
Okay.
They just have to.
I'd have to go back and look.
Just don't have to accurate star maps to not navigate into the middle or something. Yeah, I guess So Ruth's family tree just gonna be naked pics of Vulcan leader women he meditated with. Yeah,
the Vulcan president. Or the Navarian president, not Vulcan, Navarian.
Well, they're gonna. I hope they continue with that. I personally didn't think that they were in a relationship from last season, but a lot of people picked up on that. Now I'm not sure if because people were mentioning it last season that this season they decided to go with it. But nevertheless, I just the thought of them to like getting jiggy with it just like blows my mind. Lisa Lazy Eye, Tilly, Lisa Lazy Eye.
Oh God. Zam's losing it.
All right, I'm back.
Tilly, Mr. No Response, whatever the Arium actress is called, Dr. Pollard, Mike's parents, Dr. Colber, Sarek, what? Mushroom Boy, weird little freak Spock, bearded Spock, dead Captain Giorgio.
Yeah, Sarek would be there on Mike's one because
Sarek on Mike's,
yeah.
Who is Lisa Lazy Eye? Like what? I don't get that.
I thought that might have been Detmer, but
oh, maybe.
Adrian. Oh, by the way, at the beginning of this episode, did you notice the comic book swipes, which was a bit weird? Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
I'm like, well, just do a couple of swipes here and there, and then that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Like that was a bit weird. Very unusual. Felt very comic bookish. All right. Adrian's book, the new comms officer that only just come aboard. Reese, Saru, Mike hugging Owu or her mum.
Or her mom.
Also,
What? I
at least
don't know.
you can tell who's British when he writes mum. You can tell the difference between the American and the Brit by the spelling of mum or mom.
Grudge didn't make the tree list. Apparently, that's because Grudge has a grudge against Michael.
No Monarchs allowed. Lisa Lazia is the con pilot with the PTS. Yeah. Detmer.
Yep, Detmer.
Yeah, Detmer. That's it. Yeah. So, yeah, and that was the episode. So, it was all right. It was, at least we are getting, like, even though we have a massive issue regarding the anomaly, there seems to be a lot of episodic sort of scenarios they're dealing with.
Which I can get behind.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like last week was obviously evacuating people from that planet. I kind of forgot what happened the previous weeks, by the way. So it slipped my mind.
Navarre rejoining the Federation.
Oh yes, yes.
And
Tilly being stuck on that planet.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've had some episodic episodes for an overall arc. So they've got the balance right now, because prior to that, everything was to do with the overall arc, and the arc is still there, but we're seeing them having to deal with problems each and every episode, which is what Star Trek fundamentally is. Last week was
evacuation of their ratings. God,
I like last week's episode, by the way. It was a good episode, and this episode wasn't too bad, but it's quite familiar. Like the tropes of Star Trek are just there. Like, I feel like we've been here, done that, worn the T-shirt. Obviously the scenario is different with this overall anomaly, but it will be nice to know who created this anomaly. Now, I think we're already halfway through this season, aren't we?
Technically a little under, because I think there's 13 episodes. I can double check, but I think it's 13 episodes this season.
Yeah, they kind of started doing that from last season. Wagyu, they had the more self-contained episodes. They did that last season, and they've got a better grip of it this season. The first I'm not even sure how to look at the second season with this Red Angel bullshit, but the first season was Game of Thrones in space. It wasn't very good, and I'll never forgive them for even though it was a very good twist. But the the captain, what was the name of the captain of the first season?
What was his name? Did it start with an N? Why do I forget his name? No, Lorca. There we go.
Lorca, yeah. Like, I was a big fan of them having a very alternative style captain, being the captain of Discovery. That was very refreshing. All the captains are quite liberal, lefty guys, and I have no problem with that. But I'm a liberal, lefty guy myself. But having a conservative, more harsh, more warmongering captain to be the captain of a starship was very refreshing and very different, and I really appreciated that. But they kind of stopped that, unfortunately, and then they brought in Pike, who was no different to a lot of other captains, in my opinion. So
I don't know. I still love the twist of that season. Like,
no, it was good, but it broke my heart knowing that we're not going to proceed with this. This captain who very much wanted to throw his crew under the bus and all of that.
Well, I do kind of wish we would have gotten the Prime Lorca back. Like, they're basically saying that he's dead in the mirror universe, but I kind of wish we would have gotten Prime Lorca back, and he still was a bit of a hard ass, because they did say that even in the Prime universe that he was a bit of a hard ass. But anyway, the tangent station, right there.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I like how he had a collection of alien weapons. Didn't really come through to anything though. Yeah, I think something's got shot with one of Harry Mudd's episodes. Yeah, that was a great episode, by the way, with the time loop as well. I thoroughly enjoyed that episode a lot. And I think was it Tilly who was in the time loop? It wasn't Michael, was it?
I thought it was Michael. Was it?
No, I think it was Tilly.
Might have been Tilly.
Or it might have even been somebody else. But nevertheless, it was it was all right. Now I'm not sure if we're gonna start wrapping things up here, guys. Now we finished watching Hawkeye season 1, episode 6 yesterday, and we're going to be doing a recap of that coming soon. Also, I just finished watching Matrix 4, and I'm going to have to watch it again because I kind of fell asleep here and there during the course of the film. That's not good, man. It's a fucking Matrix, for fuck's sake. But Matrix Resurrection, yeah, that's all I can say is, oh god, yeah, like it's a shame. It's a bit of a shame, really. Like I wanted it to be good, and it has its moments, but it's not like when you see Matrix 1 and then you see Matrix 4, you think, where the hell is this? Matrix 2, you mean? I started watching it only 20 minutes in. Matrix 4, Matrix Resurrection. There's Matrix, then there's Matrix Reloaded, there's Matrix Revolutions, and there's Matrix Resurrections. Matrix Resurrection is the 4th one, which is out in cinemas now. There are other ways of watching it though. Let me see if I can post it in here.
And don't forget, I also have my Young Justice review that I'm going to upload tonight. So we are coming to the end of the Zatara arc. So if anyone's watching that, it's I'm hoping that they will end strong with these 4 episodes.
Here's a good copy. Yeah, Matrix was horrible. Bullet time. I ideally want to escape. Just escape. Look, Matrix 1 is a work of art. Yeah.
Matrix
yeah,
1 was really good.
Matrix 1, it was a revolutionary movie, and it was basically an anime in live action. It was fantastic. There's not many films where you can have tremendous action and have a storyline that works with an action movie. You know, a story just as good as the action. And not only that, but the action was superb. You know, and the craziness of it was fantastic. We're going to be doing a review of Matrix 4, by the way. Immediately recognize the coffee shop from downtown San Francisco. At my work office is around the corner. Laugh out loud.
I mean, are you wanting to? When are you wanting to do that Matrix?
Maybe Saturday.
Saturday. I'll see tomorrow. I'm only working a half day, so I'll see if I can watch it, and then and then I'll try to join you. Because I mean, I've seen all the Matrixes. I like the first one a lot. Second one had its moments, but still was pretty bad. Third one was awful. I couldn't even get through it.
Yeah, third one. Yeah, the third one it was set in the real world, not in the Matrix mainly.
Yeah,
and so I wasn't feeling like by that time.
But then he had like the powers in the real world, and there was it was so bad. I couldn't.
And Neo pretty much became fucking Jesus,
and then he died. That's I mean, I'm sure they probably explained
well,
that.
He's Jesus, so he's been resurrected. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes no sense at this point. And then I thought the fight scene with Agent Smith. We can get into that during the review, but I thought the fight scene at the end with Agent Smith was cool. But like.
Hugo Weaving is just a badass, man. Like,
yeah,
you can't go wrong with Hugo Weaving. He's fucking Lord Eldaron from fucking Lord of the Rings. Looking forward to it, Cheeto. Yeah, for sure. New one would have been better as a 30-minute short. Well, you have got those Animatrix, by the way, which are very good. I just hope we see some of those drugs on zip disk. Close your ears, Wagyu. Okay, so so keep an eye out for that. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a season end to we're going to be talking about the whole season of Hawkeye. So if you have Disney Plus, watch that. If you don't have Disney Plus, find a way of watching that. The entire season is out there. We have our opinions on that. It's the last show, Disney Plus show of the last Marvel Disney Plus show of 2021. Book of Boba Fett will be coming out next week. We'll be doing that to fill its void. And then I think Moon Knight will be the first one of next year. By the way, that's what I've been hearing.
Really? That's because
Yeah,
Ms. Marvel's been out for a while,
I
or
thought so
Miss
too.
Marvel's been in production since Hawkeye's been in production.
Welcome to Rivendell, Mr. Anderson. Yes, you're damn
By the
right.
way, since we're promoting, if anyone wants to go to watch our most recent fan film, it is a Santa Claus, or it's Santa, a short horror film. It is quite funny, and watching me and Santa Claus, rip that one to shreds is always a fun time. So,
Yeah, by the way, Santa Claus is gone, by the way. Fuck him. My goodness, man. I don't know how you guys were able to
oh wait,
maintain.
you're Zam? Oh, I didn't notice. I just thought you shaved.
Very good. Look, I'm not wearing glasses either. I have got Xanta's hat on, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
surprised there's no blood on it from when you decapitated him.
The guy put me in my basement and fed me oatmeal for 3 weeks.
Oh, I noticed you were a little thinner in the face.
Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, yeah. But at least he looked after Dax for me,
yeah.
which is pretty cool. Where the fuck is Dax, by the way? I bet she's hiding in my wardrobe again. All right. So yeah, so lots to come in the future, and it's Christmas Eve now where I am. So I'd like to wish, yeah, coming over the chimneys more like it. But yeah, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Christmas Eve already, man. Unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, it's not
You
Christmas
know,
Eve where I'm at yet, but
yeah, it's knocking there. So I'm gonna start looking on. I want to get myself a new monitor, so I'm gonna start looking for January sales right now. All right then, guys. Take care, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We're the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.